They were born of the same blood, true brothers of the ancient three clans. Yet when they met, only one was meant to survive. Why did brothers become mortal enemies? And what terrifying secret was hidden behind the birth of the cave world? Those who have read the original novel know that, when the seven-colored immortal venerable opened the cave world, the ancient three clans did not exist at all. Moreover, the immortal clan and the ancient clan were enemies, which makes this even more inexplicable. As for why ancient clans existed in the subworld where Wang Lin resided, this leads us to one of the seven-colored immortal venerable's conspiracies. His goal was to use the ancient clan's bloodline to nourish the heavenly Tao. Thus he devised a scheme to lure Tao ancient Ye Mo over, and later joined forces with Li Guang and others to kill him. However, at the moment of death, Ye Mo gave birth to 3,000 drops of blood, preserving the seeds of inheritance. Among them, 1,000 evolved into ancient gods, and this became the origin of the ancient three clans of the cave world. In other words, everyone in the cave world is a descendant of Ye Mo, which is why they were originally true brothers. The ancient three clans once enjoyed a period of great glory within the cave world, with their presence both inside and outside the world. Unfortunately, the good times did not last. They were later ruthlessly exterminated by the seven-colored immortal venerable. Most of the ancient three clans died tragic deaths, their bodies placed in the ancient immortal domain as emissaries of the heavenly Tao. The heavenly tribulations that Wang Lin later experienced were orchestrated behind the scenes by these puppet ancient clans. All of this followed rules that the seven-colored immortal venerable had set long ago. The remaining members of the ancient three clans were later hunted down by the seven-colored Taoist and his followers, their bloodlines extracted and refined using methods from within the world. In the end, the ancient three clans were nearly wiped out completely, with only a handful of survivors remaining. Yet these brothers born of the same mother would immediately fight to the death upon meeting. The most typical example is ancient demon Beiluo and ancient demon Tajia. Both originated from beyond the world, yet were as incompatible as fire and water, having been enemies for countless years outside the realm. When they later invaded the inner world, they discovered the immortal Emperor Qing Lin, who had been heavily injured by the Palm Lord. Both turned their attention to Qing Lin, temporarily setting aside their hatred, to join forces and kill him, seeking his body and inheritance. The agreement was clear. Beiluo would take the body, while Tajia would take the inheritance. But Tajia merely intended to use Beiluo. He not only wanted Qing Lin's body, but also all of Qing Lin's divine abilities and secret arts. Thus, during their joint attack on Qing Lin, Tajia seized Qing Lin's body through possession, leaving Beiluo alone outside to face Qing Lin. In the end, Beiluo was struck once by Qing Lin and shattered into 9 fragments. Although Beiluo later encountered Wang Lin and gained a chance to return to peak strength, he ultimately died at the hands of Tajia. Though they were brothers born of the same mother, they became life and death enemies because of one fundamental reason: the struggle for inheritance. Even though Ye Mo was dead, he left behind a complete inheritance, located within the ancient tomb grounds beyond the world, and only one person could obtain it. Every one of the ancient three clans wanted to monopolize Ye Mo's inheritance, leaving only death battles between them. If one could obtain the full inheritance, the benefits would be unimaginable. First, cultivation would rise dramatically. Ancient clans are notoriously difficult to advance, especially after facing the 3 losses and 7 tribulations, where even a minor mistake could result in death. But with the power of inheritance supporting them, these difficulties would be vastly reduced. Even Wang Lin nearly advanced 2 major stars at once. If a stronger ancient clan had obtained it, the gains would have been even greater. Becoming a ruler of the cave world would not have been far-fetched. Second, the bloodline itself would undergo a complete rebirth. No longer a diluted remnant, it would ascend into a true Tao ancient lineage, a bloodline that traced its origin directly back to Ye Mo himself. Once awakened, this lineage would stand above all ancient three clans within the cave world. Even the so-called royal clans would be forced to yield, their authority rendered meaningless before such primordial blood. This was not merely superiority in cultivation. It was dominance at the level of origin, the rise of a true progenitor-level existence, one whose very presence could suppress entire worlds. But the bloodline was only the beginning. What truly terrified all factions were the divine abilities left behind by Ye Mo. Each one was a forbidden art, capable of overturning heaven and earth. Techniques born from the ancient Tao itself. Divine shock, weapon cultivator formation, a single command that summoned endless weapon intent, turning the battlefield into a storm of annihilation. Demon Art's mountain of warfire, flames of demonic origin that rose like collapsing peaks, incinerating everything in their path, body and soul alike. Demonic Tao reversal of life and death, a technique that defied causality itself, twisting existence so that death could become life, and life could be erased in an instant. And above them all, ancient Tao no immortals, a supreme art spoken of only in whispers, a declaration that within its domain, even immortals were forbidden to exist. Once unleashed, heaven fell silent, and the world itself seemed to bow. Each of these abilities was a world-shaking killing move, and together they formed the true reason why every clan was willing to risk extinction, all for the chance to inherit Yomo's legacy. This was why every clan coveted Yomo's inheritance, not merely for power, but for the chance to return to the origin, to become a reverted ancestor, a being whose bloodline stood at the very beginning of the ancient Tao. Even ancient god Tuosen, a figure who had spent countless years pursuing the inheritance of ancient god Tusi, abandoned everything the moment he learned that Yomo's inheritance had appeared. Without hesitation, he crossed realms and domains, racing against fate itself. Yet fate had already chosen its master. In the end, Tuosen was still one step slower than Wang Lin, and in battles of inheritance, one step was the difference between ascension and ruin. Ultimately, Yomo's inheritance fell into Wang Lin's hands. Borrowing the power of Yomo, Wang Lin unleashed divine abilities that belonged to a primordial era, with the authority of the Tao Ancient flowing through him. He crushed ancient god Tuosen completely, not just in body, but in will. The once arrogant ancient god was beaten to the point of utter submission, his fighting spirit shattered, his pride erased. Frankly speaking, Tuosen was truly pitiful. Wang Lin first seized his memory inheritance, stripping away the very foundation he had relied upon for countless years. Then before his eyes, Wang Lin claimed the Yomo inheritance, the very legacy Tuosen had risked everything to obtain. Only after all that did Wang Lin return the worthless memory inheritance to him. And yet powerless and defeated, Tuosen could only force himself to say one word: thank you. It was utterly unreasonable, a scene so absurd that even the Tao itself seemed to fall silent. Had this not happened, Brother Sen might have risen on the spot within the cave world, soaring straight into the ranks of supreme existences and elevating the prestige of the ancient clan to an entirely new height. But history does not favor what-ifs. It favors only the victor. And that victor was Wang Lin, and from that moment on, the inheritance of Yomo no longer belonged to the ancient clans. It belonged to Wang Lin. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating.